When I was 8 years old, Lionel Messi accidentally stepped on my broken football boot and told me not to quit. 15 years later, after every academy slammed the door in my face, after an injury almost ended everything, after my family lost the little we had left, 90,000 people were standing in a stadium, screaming my name. But to understand how I got there, you have to understand where I started. And trust me, nobody, and I mean nobody, ever bet on the kid from my street. I grew up in a neighborhood in Rosario where the streets flooded when it rained and the lights went out when the bills didn't get paid. My mom cleaned houses. My dad drove a delivery truck until his back gave out. And me? All I had was a ball and one pair of boots that were already falling apart. The right one had a tear across the toe. I'd taped it shut so many times the tape had its own tape. One afternoon, a friend told me a soda company was filming a commercial 2 blocks over, and they needed local kids as extras. Free sandwiches, he said. For me, that was enough. I didn't know who was going to be there. I walked onto that set holding my taped-up boot in my hand, too embarrassed to wear it in front of the cameras. And there he was. Lionel Messi, standing 20 feet away, laughing with the crew like he was just a guy from the block. I froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. During a break, all the kids rushed him at once. I got shoved to the back. My boot slipped out of my hand and landed on the floor, down there between all the sneakers and the cables. And then he stepped on it. Messi looked down. He picked it up. He turned it over in his hands and he saw everything. The tear, the tape, the sole worn down to nothing. He looked around, found the embarrassed kid staring at the ground, and he asked, "This is yours?" I nodded. I wanted to disappear into the floor. He didn't laugh. He crouched down so we were eye to eye, and he said something I've replayed 1,000 times since. I had boots like these once. Don't quit. Promise me you won't quit. I promised. I walked home that night 10 feet tall. I thought that was the moment everything changed. I had no idea it was the moment everything was about to fall apart. The next year, I tried out for the biggest academy in the province. I was fast. I could see the passes before they even happened. I was so sure. They cut me on the first day. Too small, they said, too skinny. The year after that, another academy. Cut again, then another, and another. By the time I was 13, I had been rejected by 6 clubs. 6. Coaches would watch me for 5 minutes and wave me off the field like I was wasting their time, like I was nothing. Every night I'd take out that old boot, the one Messi held, and I'd remember the promise. Don't quit. So I didn't, but promises don't pay rent. When I was 15, my dad's back finally gave out for good. No more truck, no more paycheck. So we sold the TV, then we sold the couch. Then my mom sold her wedding ring to keep the lights on, and she never told me. I only found out years later. I started working nights, unloading crates at a market from midnight to 5 in the morning. Then I'd go to school. Then I'd train alone in the dark on a field with no net, because it was the only thing left in the whole world that felt like mine. I was exhausted. I was angry. And a small voice in the back of my head kept whispering the thing I was most afraid of. Maybe all those coaches were right. Maybe I really wasn't good enough. Then, at 17, I finally caught a break. A small 3rd division club signed me. Nothing fancy, but a real contract, real games, a real chance. 6 months in, I went up for a header, came down wrong, and heard my knee snap, torn, badly. The doctor told me a lot of players never come back from this one. The club told me they couldn't wait around for a maybe, so they let me go. No club, no money, a knee that could barely bend. I was 18 years old, lying on the floor of my room, holding that taped-up boot in my hands. And for the first time in my life, I wanted to break the promise. I don't fully know why I got up the next morning. Maybe it was my mom's face. Maybe it was that voice. Don't quit. That just refused to shut up. I rehabbed that knee myself. No fancy clinic, just a rusty rail, a jump rope, and about 1,000 hours that nobody ever saw. For 2 years, I played anywhere that would have me. Sunday leagues, company teams for cash, games on dirt fields for $50 and a bottle of water. And slowly, something strange happened. The injury had stolen my speed, so I learned to think faster. I stopped being the quick kid, and I started being the smart one. The one who was always in the right place a half second before everyone else. I didn't know it yet, but I was becoming dangerous. I was 22 when a scout, a tired old man who'd seen 10,000 players come and go, watched me score in a nothing game on a rainy Tuesday in front of nobody. He didn't say much, just, "You, come train with us on Monday." That us was a professional club, a real one. I made the bench, then I made the roster. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, I made a national squad for a major international tournament. As the very last name on the list. The guy nobody expected. The guy the commentators didn't even bother to research, and then came the final. 90,000 people, a tied game, the 89th minute. And my coach, God only knows why, points down the bench, at me. "Warm up, you're going in." My legs were shaking. 15 years of rejection were standing on that touchline right next to me. 6 academies, a torn knee, my mom's wedding ring, all of it. The ball came loose at the edge of the box in the 90th minute. And time just slowed down. Because in that half second, I was standing exactly where I had spent 2 years teaching myself to be. One touch to settle it. And I hit it. I didn't even watch the ball. I watched the goalkeeper's face. That exact moment when he knew he could never reach it, the net moved. And then the sound hit me like a wave. 90,000 people on their feet, screaming a name I had spent my whole life being told didn't belong on a football pitch. My name. I dropped to my knees. And out of everything I could have thought about in that moment, I thought about a broken boot on a commercial set. A stranger crouching down to look one embarrassed little kid in the eye. And 4 words, "Don't quit, promise me." I never broke that promise. They handed me a trophy that night. But that wasn't the real win. The real win was the 8-year-old with the taped-up boot, standing at the back of the crowd, finally being seen. So if you're out there right now and every door has closed, and every voice is telling you that you're too small, too slow, too broken, too late, I need you to hear the same 4 words a stranger once handed me on the worst boots I ever owned. Don't quit, because you never know who's about to step on your broken boot and change your entire life. If this story hit you the way it hit me, do me one favor, tap that subscribe button and go watch the next video right now, because your climb to the top starts the moment this one ends.